everybody, my name is Joe Barna, drummer, composer, and band leader, and today I have the honor to sit down with one of the distinguished owners of the legendary Van Dyck venue in Schenectady, New York, also Stella's Pasta Bar downstairs, Mr. Chris Sule.
How's it going,
Chris?
Joe? Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you so much. We have a very special event coming up in June, the 26th to be exact, but first I just want to say that I'm super excited to be back in this venue, having been a former Schenectady Community College student and having been introduced to this amazing space back in 1995. I believe 95, 96 was the first time I was introduced to this venue. I think the first show I ever saw here was the Elvin Jones Quartet.
Nice.
I also saw Eric Marienthal, the great trumpet player Tom Harold, a lot of local acts, pianist with the John Coltrane Quartet, McCoy Tyner and his trio. It has really had an impact on my life as a musician and kind of cultivated this thirst in myself to have a hand in booking bands myself at different venues and running concert series. And I can't express to you enough how exciting it is to finally, after 25 years, to bring the very gentleman back to this venue that I played here with for the first time in 2000. We actually haven't even been back since 2000. I've played here, but not with Ralph.
Sure.
And he's very excited.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, it's perfect timing. What you're doing here is a miracle for this city and for the capital region, because we are sorely missing this aesthetic and this level of live venue, not just for jazz, for a eclectic mix of music that you talked yesterday about your vision for different kinds of music that you like to have in here, and it sounds very exciting, very exciting.
It's just to have a space where you, the performers, can be comfortable, where our excellent audience can experience different kind of genres, different setups of shows and events, and just kind of echoing how we got here to the Van Dyck with Stella and 7 Points downstairs, the quality and the consistency, knowing that I can trust these folks to put on a show at the Van Dyck. I'm very proud to say, so far so good, that level of trust, and it's a real honor to be here myself. So,
one thing that we've noticed, that you told me and I've noticed, the community's noticed, is that you are not only making space for national touring groups or bigger names out of like closer states like New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Vermont. You are actively trying to engage the community by bringing in younger artists, bringing in some established artists from the capital region, some people that used to play here when it was under different ownership. I think that's commendable. I think that in this day and age, I think we have the opportunity, especially with the internet and social media, that we can bridge these gaps. New York's not so far away anymore.
Yeah, I get what you're saying,
You know, so we can bring musicians together from different places and put on very special events that not only include the bigger names, but also include people from here, because let's be honest, the talent level in the capital region is pretty high.
Tremendous, tremendous. And the respect that they have and awareness of this venue, thanks to everyone who did it at the Van Dyck before, it means I'm at a pretty good spot to jump back into things. It takes a lot to do, but it's something I'm very proud to do. And the focus to build up in phases, and not overextend. So just getting back to things, less than a year of shows upstairs for me so far, to have that incredible talent group here in the area to tap into, and supportive audience that are aware of these phenomenal players. It's a good mix for these early days, peppering in a couple of headliners from out of town with local backing in these early stages, and just build it one step at a time.
Well, I know from being here most of my life, I did live in other places. I lived in Dubai for a while. I lived on cruise ships. I lived in Manhattan. I've traveled around a lot, but what I do know is that this community, at least in the past, and not just from Schenectady, all the surrounding areas, has been very supportive and very generous in supporting this particular venue. And I like what you did in regards to starting it downstairs first and bringing in smaller groups, testing it. It's like almost like a test pilot. Is this going to work? And when you saw that people were coming in and that there was, the audience still existed and still has a thirst to want to be here, I think it made sense to say, you know what, I think slowly we should bring this upstairs, and let's find out if we can bring that nostalgia back to this city. Because frankly, not having music in the upstairs of the Van Dyck in this day and age seems absolutely bizarre to me. That would be like, to me, finding out that there's no more live music at the Village Vanguard. It doesn't make any sense.
To be mentioned, in the same sentence is an honor there, and there were times when the Van Dyck was on that level, for various reasons, ebbs and flows, But I agree with you that from day one here, when I laid my eyes on this club, the potential was I feel it's through the roof here. And then in terms of building things up, starting downstairs, even less of a test than it was just getting comfortable and awareness on my end. Honest communication is how we built this place, as far as the restaurant goes and acquiring the club and everything. And I'm always upfront with folks in the scene. I'm not coming from a jazz background, from a venueship background. It's all very new to me, but kind of realizing what we have here and getting a jazz show in, and the next thing you know, you got 2 on Saturdays, and then 4, and then 8, and then now my inbox never stops. But it's so great to be able to give these incredible players the opportunity, and for everyone to really embrace me as, I feel like a big rookie here, learning fast and learning that this is the place to do it here at the Van Dyck.
Well, I can tell you from my own experience that there is no right or wrong way to do this. You have to embrace the potholes. You know what I mean? Navigate your way around them. You're going to hit some of them. Yeah. And that's just life. But I think it's courageous to take on this magnitude of a task. And if I may, what is it that encouraged you or inspired you to actually pursue this? Because as an outsider, and I look at the size of this venue, and I look at the history of it, and how it should be honored. Yeah. I don't know that even if I had the money, I would have the audacity to tackle that. So I want to know, where does that audacity come from, and what initially inspired you or ignited a flame in you to come over here and look at the venue and say, you know what, I think I can do this?
It boils down to a one-word answer. I'm gonna give you. My mom is a big driving factor of the Stella spirit and everything we did. And back in Burnt Hills, when we were first getting started, it was Lisa bringing in the music from Saratoga and friends and developing a scene and kind of feeling that and opening a restaurant with my parents that we always intended for it to be more than just a transaction. We wanted to be part of the community, a bigger thing here. And we were successful in that in Burnt Hills for different reasons. We had to move on. We were a restaurant without a home for a while. And by just sheer luck, they found out what was happening here. And to see this space in such a beautiful neighborhood with different components that we can really embrace, and the musical side being part of that, we just knew right away that this could be that vision that she had 9+ years ago. And then that was the feeling on day one. And then learning more and meeting folks in the scene and seeing kind of the support that we had growing downstairs, it was just a no-brainer to go all in on the history of things here and bring it forth.
Let me ask you this: where does the name Stella's come from?
We were originally going to be in Boston Spa way back in 2016 at this place that no longer exists, Good Morning Cafe. Best ham hash I've ever had in my life.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it was good. And they had a sign, "Good Morning, Son," and we were going to move in and they did their breakfast. We were going to do pasta at night. In the 11th hour, it just didn't quite work out. But we had all the planning done, including a beautiful sign we were going to put up next to their Good Morning sign. We were at night. They had a sun. Other side, a moon. We didn't like that. A star. Okay. Italian for star.
Okay.
Stella.
Okay.
And then once Stella Pasta Bar was in the linguistics, we ended up having to change plans. We found the spot in Burnt Hills, and the rest is history. But
I think it's a great name, and also it's a kind of like a tribute to. This is what I think of when I hear Stella. The famous line, Stella, from the movie. And then also Stella by Starlight is one of the most famous jazz standards ever written. I think it's just a very favorable name given the adventure that you're about to go on. So
it works out really well, and to have Stella, and we had the brewery here. Our logo was the 7-point star. I figured you can't call a brewery Stella. The Stella Artois people might have been upset with me. So I was like, we got to come up with a name. I was staring at the logo, different things we did, and once 7 points hit, we kind of knew what we were doing. But as far as the second floor goes, I was tossing around a couple different ideas, more star puns, more things that could tie the three together. And one day I was talking to my bartender, Andrew. I said, maybe we just honor the Van Dyck with the name on the second floor.
Well, you know my
Bingo.
thoughts, man. You know my thoughts on that. I think that if don't mess with it if it's not broke.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I was on the phone with Mr. Don Dworkin, who I'm sure the jazz community is very familiar with. And Don used to do the booking here, 70s, 80s. And we were having a conversation before I got anything going on the second floor. He said, I told the Olson family 2 owners ago, and I told the McDonald's who we bought the building from, the Van Dyck Hotel and Lounge. A lounge implies there's music going on in the background, and maybe drinks or conversation is taking precedent.
Cigars,
sure,
scotch.
But he's saying, Smalls and the Vanguard and Cafe Lena in Saratoga, these are clubs where you're going in with the intention of the music and the entertainment taking a precedence.
There's a specific vision,
I said, Don, you know more about this in your fingernail than I do my entire 30 years on this planet. We're going to call it the Van Dyck Music Club. And that was it.
I love it. I love it. Tell whoever has the good fortune to be able to watch this video, tell them about your partner.
Oh man, Chef. My stepfather, John, is my business partner here. We've been doing this in July 25. It'll be 9 years.
Wow, congrats.
I appreciate that.
Has it really been 9 years?
9 years since 2016. Hard to believe. I was 25 back then.
Wow. Wow. That even at 25 years old and you took this on?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But the reason it is possible, and the ace up my sleeve always, is my partner, John, our executive chef here. Quality and consistency, I say that all the time because it's really our philosophy of just how to be a respectful and successful business. If you set these goals and you see what you want to be and then try and do the best version of it, there'll always be detractors. You can do this differently, you can do that, but at the end of the day, you sleep well knowing you're confident and proud to be putting forth your vision. And the big part of that is Chef and the cuisine downstairs, and couldn't do it without him.
Awesome. One thing, we had a long conversation yesterday.
For sure.
Right? And I learned a lot about you and your history and your vision for this. But one thing that you said, you mentioned very specific people, like Leslie Highland was one of them, and a couple other individuals that have come in to support the venue that have been in Schenectady or in the Capital Region for a long time, who are involved in the music, Bill McCann. You are open to hearing people's opinions, and you're considering them as part of your vision moving forward, but you're very confident in your vision. I think that's a good balance. I think I've seen clubs close because they refuse to listen to the people that are spending their money there. Now, you can't listen to everybody, but what you have to do is navigate your way through all of these opinions and find the ones that you think, if you attach them to your vision, would actually enhance the experience, not change the experience. And since you're willing to do that, I think that is very intelligent. You're not dismissing anybody. Like you asked me yesterday if there's anybody you think would be a good fit to perform here, please let me know. So you're not even being too controlling about that. You're open to hearing what people have to say.
I'm excited to really jump in and be a contributor and a collaborator. You know what I mean? There's no way that this is possible without folks that have much more experience and influence and all sorts of things in this community before I even stepped foot into it. So to honor these folks and this space that's been doing it since, some of the fellas I have play here were born, way before I was. It's a really honor for me, and it just makes so much sense I'm just so thankful I can lean on our community
and to have those
bit.
People available.
Yeah.
Just the sheer amount of people that have been around for that long, who have been in the industry, have been part of the patronage of these venues for this long, to have them be able to tell you because it's not 80 years later. These people are still here.
Yeah.
And they can say, this is what worked. This is why we came here. This is why we love this venue. One thing that I am going to miss, though, and I hope this changes, they had a beautiful grand piano on that stage. And when you walk into a venue and you see a mic'd up grand piano, you know what you're in for. And so I hope at some point that happens. Maybe I can help with that. Maybe we can.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're trying to get rid of a grand piano,
yes,
you know where to find me.
Really quick, I tried the beer for the first time last night. I tried 3 samples of 3 different ones, and I will say I was floored.
Thank you.
I don't always walk into smaller breweries and enjoy what they're doing. Sometimes it's a little too crazy for me, or sometimes the flavors are a little too thin for me.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But I tried the porter. I tried the jalapeno peach beer.
Killer.
That was awesome.
Oh yeah, yep.
And I tried the Pilsner, and I gotta say all 3 of them were home runs. I even had a sample of the hazy IPA that you have downstairs.
Yeah.
All of them I would highly recommend to anybody that's interested in that. Also, I've eaten here 3 times. I've had food here 3 times. I've had 3 different things, and I have not been disappointed with a single thing that I've had. So this is not just a music venue. I highly recommend anybody that's going to come to a show here, make sure that you make time before the show to sit down, order a meal, even if it's downstairs before the show. Reserve a table, have a fantastic meal, get yourself ready to hear some great music, come up, have a couple cocktails, and just sit back and enjoy the ambiance of this like historic venue. All right?
To have the 3 in 1, it's a uniqueness, it's a strength. Multifaceted is the word that I love to use. And very often in the capital region, you see a successful small business rush to, go from Albany to Troy to Saratoga to expand, and to have 3 businesses under one roof, to have a goal that is a long-term goal here, it's huge.
We have this unbelievable opportunity to revisit my very first show with one of my jazz heroes that I ever performed in the Capital Region. This was in 2000, so this is our 25-year anniversary. My good friend Ralph LaLama, 4-time Grammy-winning artist, been in the Village Vanguard Orchestra since the early 80s, played with the Carnegie Hall Jazz Ensemble. He was in the Buddy Rich Band. He played with Joe Morello's quartet, Kenny Barron. It goes on and on. Carmen McRae. The list goes on and on and on. This is one of the
New York City jazz legend. This is what I read and I believe.
Absolutely. If you're going to define in a human being what it means to be a legend of the music, I would say that Ralph LaLama fits that definition to a T. He has a voice all of his own, which is, in my opinion, one of the hardest things to do in music, is to always sound different than everybody else, especially with so many players out there. So I'd like to talk about this show a little bit, and I'd like to get some feedback from you on how you feel about bringing this back here 25 years later.
It's an incredible opportunity, just to be mentioned in the same sentence as some of those clubs and some of those performers. It's where we want to be. It's feasible to involve local Capital Region musicians to highlight this out-of-town player. It's a big part of these early days here at the Van Dyck, and just an honor. So excited.
I'm excited for a couple different reasons. One, he is one of my mentors and one of my jazz heroes. I listen to his music all the time. I talk to him all the time on the phone. And the first time that we played here, I brought a quartet up solely made of musicians from New York City.
Nice.
And this time, I had the opportunity to do the same thing. But I thought about it, and I said, I think it would do a service for the Capital Region if I was to include a couple of musicians from here who I felt are New York City musicians in regards to their level and experience.
For sure.
One of them who I picked is also, I would consider right now, sort of a mentor to me. I ask a lot of questions to him. He's a little older. He has a lot of experience in the field. He lived in New York City for a long time. He's got like 20 albums out.
Yep.
He's played with the who's who of jazz. His name is John Esposito, and he's going to be playing piano that night. So I thought that was a great fit. The way he plays, the way he approaches music, his creative spirit, how I feel he's going to interact with Ralph. And you said he's played here before.
He was at one of my Thursday night shows, the show on the third Thursday of every month over here at the Van Dyck. Jason as well, who I'm sure you'll bring up next. You made a couple great choices there.
I think so. Jason Emmett is a young bass player originally from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, who moved out to Kansas City. And a few years ago, when his sister was going to medical school here, he decided to come out and visit her, and he never left. Somebody gave me his name, said they met him at a bonfire, and he plays bass, and that I should consider maybe hiring him. And I hired him, and he came in. I didn't expect much because I don't know him, and he's not from here. And the minute he started playing, everything felt relaxed and calm. And I knew that this was a serious player. So I've done probably 100 gigs with him in the last 3 years. So Jason Emmett, John Esposito, myself on drums, the legend, the great Ralph Lalonde will be on saxophone, and we will be playing exclusively my original compositions that night.
Great.
So I haven't been on a gig with Ralph probably since 2001, where he played my original music, because with him, I usually give him reins over the band and choosing the music. He has specific stuff he really likes to play, so I want to get him in his comfort zone.
For sure.
But I think we both felt pretty strong about playing original music on this one, because it is leading to a live recording. Who knows, it might take place at the Van Dyck sometime.
Hey.
We're doing 3 nights. We're doing here on 26th.
Sure.
The next night we're doing an invite only. So if you want to go to that, you contact me or contact John Esposito. That's going to be at his home, and that is going to be a free show at his home.
Nice.
We're not charging anybody. We can't, but we are accepting donations to help pay the extensive fees it's going to take to put on this show. So if anybody feels inclined. And then the third night, we're going to be in Bushwick, Brooklyn, playing at Ornithology Jazz Club.
So cool.
Having 3 nights to play with the same exact band, play the same music, and be at this level is very, very exciting. And I'm really happy that we're starting it off here.
Yeah.
I thought that was a perfect compliment. Also, this didn't get booked that long ago.
Yeah, we were quick, man. I got. I'm excited to host things. I have this space, and like I said, just getting things going. If it's available, why not have the Joe Barna Quartet with Ralph Lalonde up here on a Thursday night? So.
Yeah, you made it happen. One thing we have to mention, and I think this is really the highlight of the night, in terms of the aesthetic and the experience people are going to have, is that WAMC Radio is going to be in-house recording the entire performance for a radio show.
Huge.
When you reached out to me with that information, I was like, wow, really?
Yeah.
I kind of was taken back that they would choose to do this show. Not that it's not worthy of it, it's just I don't necessarily have a long-term relationship with WAMC, although I'm close friends with Tim Coakley.
Sure.
He's been another source of inspiration for me over the years.
Yeah.
And also, new jazz DJ for WAMC Radio, legendary spirit in the Capital Region.
Sure.
Mr. Bill McCann will be in-house emceeing the entire event.
So excited.
So it's like there's a lot going on, man. You got the great food, the great beer, the great atmosphere, the history of the club, a brand new visionary who's allowing opportunities for people to come in and do this. Bill McCann's going to be here hosting, and it's always fun when he's hosting. And WAMC is going to be here, and we're doing a 25-year reunion. So I think bang for your buck, people. I think that there's not going to be anything better going on that Thursday night.
It's going to be hard to beat June 26th.
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult. Well, is there anything in particular? I have one more question, but anything in particular that you'd like to add?
Just the support we've received from the scene, from players like you, from folks that go to jazz and other events across the Capital Region, to realize quickly that whether they've been here before or not, that this is a place that deserves quality, both on stage and across the board with the restaurant and brewery, and quality audiences too, very attentive and appreciative audiences we get over here. It's been so great getting started. As a new venue, we could always use more support. We have a phenomenal weekly newsletter we send out with the restaurant, stellapastabar.com. You can find that. We're hosting, like I mentioned, the jazz show every third Thursday. I have an excellent summer music series out on the patio this year. And when we get back from summer break, it's going to be not quite phase 2, but picking up and focusing on more local events. I work with so many groups, and at this early stage, there's only limited opportunities to play here. The goal is always for me going to be more jazz, not like less opportunities, you know? So it's on my shoulders to keep this up. I'm happy to take that responsibility.
I think come fall, you're gonna see a rise in appreciation, attendance, support. I'm really excited to see it. It's gonna be an amazing thing. The last question I have for you, we talked about it again yesterday, but I'd like to ask you one more time. Is it weird, and are you proud to be able to say, when somebody asks you, so what do, you can say, I own the Van Dyck?
Oh man, it's crazy. And you know, coming from a much smaller situation with the restaurant and having to explain, yeah, we're inside here, over here, and she'd be like, you know the Van Dyck in Schenectady? Yeah, that's my spot.
It's so weird, right?
It fills
You're
me
so
with joy,
young, man.
I'm trying. You know, the hat hides some grays, but it's a huge project. It's something that, thanks to our great team and strong foundation with the restaurant and brewery, I can really keep a focus on what we're doing on the second floor here, and something I want to have longevity and creativity and excitement and fun, and we're off to a great start. So.
Well, if you're gonna buy a venue, my brother,
this is the one.
I think this is the one.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done it. I mean, I don't have the cojones to take on something this massive, but I'm glad that you have the energy and the passion and the vision to allow yourself this experience in life. It's going to benefit so many people.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget that you're employing people. And people need jobs. And what better job than to work in such a historic building where it's on the rise again. You know, this is a pretty special place. And I met some of your staff last night, and they seem very genuine, very caring. They pay attention. Was it Gabby downstairs?
For sure, around the bar just like.
Gabby was paying attention to everything. She was really like, do you need this? Do you need it? You want to try this? Are you guys okay? Do you want anything else? She really made it a point to be engaged with myself and Mr. Bill Stern here, who is actually recording this video for us. He has a YouTube channel called Troy Jazz Videos. I would highly recommend going to Troy Jazz Videos and pressing subscribe. He's doing a lot for the community. He's donated a lot of his time and energy into building the scene and helping musicians be noticed, both from the Capital Region and outside of the Capital Region. So please go to Troy Jazz Videos on YouTube and make sure you subscribe to his channel and follow the Van Dyck on all social media.
Please.
And then go get yourself the brand new edition of Experience Monthly Magazine. There's a 2-page spread about Ralph LaLama, and I can't see what page it's on. Let's see.
47, 46.
46 and 47. Read the article. Reserve your seats. Go to can you go to the Van Dyck website and do it?
There is a link through the website. It's on our event calendar. The website is stellapastabar.com for all three. You'll find our event calendar there. You can subscribe to the Van Dyck Music Club on eventbrite.com.
Okay.
And you will get a notification as soon as I upload tickets to the variety of shows that we've been hosting over here. And it's a great way to stay up. You can also swing by Stella and 7 Points, and I have some physical copies.
You do?
In-house. I do. People, this day it's all going online, and there's that little fee. I don't love the fee. You don't love the fee. So I have a couple print copies that I fill out, sign, have a beer instead of paying an event fee. How about that?
I love it. So you have multiple ways to buy your tickets to this event and other events at the Van Dyck. I would go to the Van Dyck website, go to the social media, go to eventbrite.com, put in these specific events, subscribe. You can come in to Stella Pasta Bar anytime that they're open during business hours. Purchase tickets from Mr. Chris Sule right here.
I'll be here.
You don't have to miss any of these shows. If you can't come to a show and you'd like to gift some tickets to someone, you can buy tickets through any of those means and just give them away, so somebody else can enjoy the show. There's a lot of ways to support the venue. You don't have to be here to support the venue. You just have to be a part of it.
Yeah.
All right. So Chris Sule, thank you so much. This has been a great experience.
Yeah,
I wish you all the success in the world on this adventure, and I hope that we build a relationship, because that's what this business is about. This business is really about relationships. I hope we are able to build a relationship over the years and continue to work together to bring in some great music whenever we have the opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
You know? All right, thank you so much.
Appreciate it,
Thank you
brother.
for listening.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.